For all men dating single mothers, let's let's talk about this because I feel that a lot of men are feeling bad, they're feeling confused, they're feeling hurt, and all these negative situations and emotions that can be really they can be avoided by a deeper understanding of what's happening when you're dating a single mother. Yes, think this through, gentlemen. And again, I'm going to be making generalizations here, so please don't write in the comments, my friend Susie's like this. And I'm not talking about all single moms. I'm talking about some or a trend or a pattern. There's always wonderful single mothers who are fantastic to date and have great families and are a positive influence on our lives. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about some of the problems that can happen when you don't find a single mom like that. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. Gentlemen, we come into these relationships when we're dating and sometimes we have rose-colored glasses. And we instantly think this woman could be wonderful. She could be someone I could spend time with. She could be someone I could be in love with. And it's, you're dating, you're getting the best version of that person and who she is at that moment, just like probably getting the best version of you. It's normal. But you have to understand the decision-making process that's going on here and what's happening behind the scenes. So that not when and if it doesn't work out, you can understand what's happening so you don't really have to feel terrible about it. So I see women making terrible choices in the men that they choose. I see single moms repeating the mistake over and over again, making awful decisions about they meet someone, they think this person's great, and you're like, oh my God, she doesn't, she's making an emotional decision. So if you're dating a single mom and she chooses some other guy over you, avoid being upset completely. She's showing you, if you are in fact the better man, she's making terrible emotional decisions. And she will make them with you if she had chosen to be with you. And that's what the situation is. When a woman doesn't choose you, that you're dating or chooses another guy, it's just as fortunate as if she chose you and she was good. You're avoiding something could be a huge amount of pain in your life. Realize that single moms are making these emotional decisions. They're all hurt from their relationships. They have kids. She's a single mom. From the disillusion of that. And who knows what kind of decision she made then. She's carrying this. And maybe, yes, people from family homes can turn out wonderful and do amazing things. But a woman not having the influence of a father in her life can make things difficult for her. And she could, she factors in that imprint and those emotions and those feelings of not having that in her life and growing up without it into her next decision that she's making. So tribe, you're dating someone, it doesn't work out. She's a single mom. She dumps you. Realize that that's could be a really wonderful thing, and most likely it is. If you're a cool dude, you got it going on, and she doesn't choose you, something else is going on, right? Seriously, look at yourself, self-evaluate. Did you do, ridiculous stuff? Did you blab out on the date and you never give her a chance to talk? What else is going on? If you're self-aware, you can just understand that her rejection could be a gift. Yes, her rejection could be a gift. Yeah, it could be a gift. She's not making the best decisions. She's definitely making an emotional decision, and gentlemen, when you're out there making an emotional decision, how good is it? How good is that decision you've made? Alright? Think about the last time you're angry and you did something, you know you got in your car and drove all angry or something. You let the emotion dictate your decision. Well, just like you logically figure things out before you make a move, it's not the same for a woman. She's different. We are actually different. Aside from what you've been taught, men are actually different from women, and we have things. There's a feminine nature and a masculine nature, and yes, there are men could be have a strong feminine nature, and then women who can have a strong feminine and or also a strong masculine nature. So, there's no absolutes when it comes to this, but there is this underlying nature, which always needs to be considered. So really, yeah, am I rambling? The point is, don't when things you think, "Oh, that went wrong," or "That went bad," or "She rejected me," you're looking at just the rejection. You're just not in that immediacy of that. You need to look at the step back and take a larger picture. Yeah, I just have so many I would like to introduce you to some people. People who are just constantly choosing the wrong man and the wrong and you're like, "Oh," you see the choices and yeah, you do not have to be super good looking. Let me you've been fooled. You don't have to be super good looking. You don't have to make a lot of money. You really don't. You don't have to be, really tall. You don't have to be, have a six pack. You don't it's all BS. It's all stuff people say. It's not true. It's 100% not true. I've seen single moms over and over again making terrible decisions. In my personal life, I see it on videos that I watch on YouTube. I hear it from friends, from people who come to me for help. It's just a different process. So look, men, don't feel bad if it doesn't work out. It's a gift. And then when you're in a relationship, keep in mind she's making more of an emotional decision. And she's very leaning far into that feminine zone. You've got to understand that in the relationship so you can maneuver, so you can collectively come to the best outcome. These are great perspectives, having this emotional dominant perspective. It's really great. It can make things difficult for a logical mind, and you're like, but it's a compliment to us. And it gives another flavor, another sense to our perception. It expands it. And in so doing, we can make even better decisions. So never discount the feminine and this emotional decision. Yeah. Is it painful when we got to deal with it? And the logic arguments we're presenting aren't listened to or heeded? Yeah. But are you always right? No, I'm not always right. Sometimes the feminine's right in that situation. Sometimes my male dominant leanings, my masculine leanings are really awesome in some situations. It can even improve if I allow for a different perspective. Just like when you're, dealing with people at work and you're in a group situation and so, an idea initially it's like, what kind of an idea is that? You're getting ideas from the room. And then later that night, you're like, I guess if you do it this way, it could be, yeah, I see. You start to think about it instead of just same pattern say, you start to think about, oh, I could see how. And that's the wonderful thing of having this male and female, this polarity. It's one of it. So, it can be frustrating, right? You're dealing with a single mom. She's coming out of a marriage and she's disillusioned. So you got those emotions. She's angry about it too. She's You got those emotions. Unless she's completely well adjusted. I mean, men carry these feelings from their past relationships too, so it's not one-sided. But the way it's affecting her decisions may be a little different than a more masculine dominant man and how he's making his decisions. So keep this in mind when she's making decisions in the relationship and, allow for it. See its value, even though you're like, "Oh, see things my way. It's just easier and makes a lot of sense." Nah, you gotta allow for that that femininity. And then ultimately, logically see what works best. Stay open to that. Do not get upset when it doesn't work out when you're dating a single mom or she's making her decision and she's talking with her friends too. And they're have all those emotions going on too. And then they're feeling, for their friend as well. That's a huge soup of, you know, female emotions that are going around there. And then she's coming back to you and they've all analyzed every word you've said and are putting it through their filter of wonderful past relationships. And yeah, wow, you're wondering why it doesn't work out or why she suddenly loses interest. It's not always another dude. Sometimes she's talking with her friends, or she's talking to, if her mom's still alive, her mom. And, maybe her mom had been through the same thing. It's a lot of that, a lot of heavy emotion and negativity. So if you're fortunate enough to be dating someone who isn't affected by that and has really good friends and comes from a great family and has all these things going on, then that's awesome. And this is all going to be an asset to you. But I just wanted to make a video on, don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work out with a single mom. There's a lot of stuff going on over there that are leading to her decisions, and we just don't always keep we think everyone's thinking how we're thinking. No, that's not what's going on. She's thinking in a very different way. Just like some of your male friends are thinking in a different way because they have different, levels of this masculine and feminine energy. We are definitely logically bent and females are definitely emotionally bent. I just think that's something most people could agree on. Not to say that there are many women who are very masculine then and very logical and make those kind of decisions and do it very well. We're just talking in general, we're just making generalizations here. But everyone deserves credit for really what they're bringing in. I hope I got all those across. Yeah, these points. I hope I got all these points across. You know, take it easy on yourself. Value this, even though it's like irritating on occasion. Value it because it definitely enriches. And don't it's all terrible, it's all bad. Nah, they only like women only like guys like this. Nah, it's not true. You just don't trust me. Made videos about this kind of stuff before. Look around you. Trust yourself, and don't trust what everyone else is telling you. You don't have to be perfect, and if you keep these things in mind as you're dating the single mom, I think you're gonna have a lot more success. And you're gonna be a lot less hurt, and you'll realize that she's giving you a gift. When it doesn't work out, she's giving you a gift. If it works out, she's wonderful. You got a gift. You win twice. Look at things like that. Don't be like, it just blows. I give up. Eh, you can still have a lot of fun. You just have to look at things differently. Allow the woman to be. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy. The messages she's being sent. If she's got terrible friends, she's being manipulated. A lot of women don't wanna be alone with their bad feelings, and when their friends feel bad, maybe men are like that too. I don't know anyone like that, but when their friends feel bad, you know, they're not giving her the best advice. They're heavily don't wanna be alone. They don't wanna be alone with those negative feelings they're feeling, so It's not easy. That doesn't mean you should sacrifice your happiness or get involved in a relationship that's not going to be healthy for you. It's just something to recognize so that you can take it easy on yourself when things don't work out. All right, Trap. Kind of long one, kind of meandering, but that's the way thought is. And I feel like maybe that's just the best way to get something positive that you can use out of what I'm saying. So I hope you got something out of this. Go ahead and subscribe. It feels great having everyone along for the ride. And we'll see you in the next video.